What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. You know, there's been a pretty consistent theme over the last couple of games. The Thunder Stars have actually struggled to create quality shots for the most part over the course of the last two games. But in both games, they've been able to make plays late. Those of you guys who hung out with us on playback on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, we went over some of that footage, and you'll see that a couple of big driving buckets from Shai and from J-Dub, a big right shoulder fade from Shai out of that 5-second call they forced on the baseline. And so even though those guys struggled in large part, they were able to make big plays late to put the game away. Similarly tonight, same sort of thing. J-Dub and Shai both struggling throughout the game. J-Dub hits a huge three on a kick out off of a double team kind of like swing sequence where he gets a wide open three on the left wing. He had just airmailed one from the right wing a few possessions earlier and just confidently steps in and knocks down the big one late. Shai, that huge driving spin move bucket, the and one on Jamal Murray around the left elbow, the step back three over Christian Braun on the left wing, the driving lob to Isaiah Hartenstein. The plays were made late to put the game away. But the question is, how is it that they were in a position with their stars not playing very well to win a game like that down the stretch against a Denver Nuggets offense that is one of the greatest offenses that we've seen in recent NBA history? I was going over with Jackson the numbers from the series. The Nuggets only get 105 points tonight, despite the fact that Jokic goes for 44, that they get 62 out of Jokic and Murray in the game. The Nuggets only got 87 in Game 4. They only got 104 in Game 3. They only got 106 in Game 2. Since that Game 1 explosion where they went for 121 points, they haven't been able to have any sort of sustained offensive success. And that's because the real star of the Oklahoma City Thunder is their defense. Their defense keeps them in these games long enough for their younger stars to work through their lumps and to find the ability to make a few plays late. It buys them all of this margin for error. And even though they lost control of Jokic tonight, they've had a great deal of success with him in this series by overplaying his right hand with Isaiah Hartenstein, which is forcing Jokic into some really difficult finishing positions where he's missing shots that he usually makes. You know, they're posting Chet on the backside to help anytime Jokic goes towards the rim. They're doubling him on the baseline side every single time he tries to post up. They've had extended success against Denver's defense and against Denver's offense. And in tonight's game, even though Jokic had it going, they got control of Jamal Murray late, and no one else on the roster was able to do any sort of substantial damage to them in this game. Their defense, through the incessant pressure and wearing you down and getting you to miss shots. Like Michael Porter Jr. is 0 for 14 from 3 in the last 3 games. You want to know why he's 0 for 14 from 3 in the last 3 games? It's because his legs are cooked. His legs are cooked from contending with this team. Yes, the shoulder injury plays a role, but his right hand, he can follow through and shoot this shot. He can't even get it over the front of the rim, as his last 2 threes were pitifully short. Most of them have been pitifully short. They're wearing him down. Jamal Murray misses another wide open 3 out of the right corner late in the game. There is a cumulative physical wear and tear factor, and they've been able to walk Denver down at the tail end of these games. Denver was up 2-1 in the series, led by 8 in the fourth quarter of Game 4, led by 9 in the fourth quarter of Game 5, and Oklahoma City is up 3-2 in this series. And it's because their defense has managed to keep things close, and because their stars have been able to make plays late in the game, even though they've struggled in the meat and potatoes of the game. Obviously, a huge part in this was Lou Dort, kind of getting out of his shooting slump in a big way in that fourth quarter. Nikola Jokic has basically been conceding shots to him whenever he can. And to Dort's credit, he just kept taking them, to the point where I'm sure there were some Oklahoma City fans while he was taking them that weren't necessarily thrilled with the shots. But they went in, he had his moment, ran back to the bench screaming that I'm back, and he is, because they needed every single one of those buckets. That's what erased that lead, that forced it into a crunch time shot-making contest. And Jokic was there. Jokic went blow for blow with them, hit one of those absurd somber shuffle shots at the top of the key. That was one of the crazier shots I've seen Jokic hit in his career, especially when you factor in time and place. I've seen him or time and score, I should say. I've seen him hit that shot before, but like usually like just at the end of the quarter, at the end of the shot clock, for him to tie the game with less than 2 minutes left with one of those against a great contest at the top of the key, you overcame a incredible Jokic performance that was every bit as good as the one that we saw in game one of this series. And now the Thunder are up 3-2. And you know what happens next is going to be interesting, because I talked after game four that I thought Denver blew their chance to win the series. Their offense was in such they were so down in the mud that I didn't see anything that they had going for them that would manifest in the ability to win on the road in Oklahoma City, which would make it very difficult for them to win this series, right? Well, there's some encouraging stuff out of that. So in a weird way, I came out of game four thinking this series is over. Oklahoma City's going to get it. Now I still feel like Denver's got a legitimate chance. Jokic has regained his mojo after 3 straight awful games by his standards and has gotten back to having the touch on the three-point shot, having the touch on the short-range shot making, having the kind of just like aura and presence that he brings down the stretch of these games. That is back. Jamal Murray had his highest volume scoring game of the series, although not necessarily the most efficient one. He took 27 shots tonight. But Jamal Murray started to get some things going. There are some things that Denver has going in terms of their two-man game now that gives them a puncher's chance. I think they have a legitimate chance to go home and win Game 6. And then after what we've seen tonight, we would all be foolish to count out Nikola Jokic in a Game 7 on the road in Oklahoma City. That said, I picked Oklahoma City in 7 before the series. This series is kind of manifested with some of those things in terms of the way Denver has been able to bog down Oklahoma City's offense, and Jokic has been able to make plays late in games to steal games. But I still think Oklahoma City is going to end up closing this thing out in 7 is my best guess at this point in time.